So tell me a little bit about why Hello, Dolly for a Christian family stage play. Why Hello, Dolly?
Well, in Hello Dolly, there's so many characters who have these deep, deep desires. They are funny, they are farce, but they do have these real desires. And really, it's this hole in their soul, their heart, that they're trying to fill. Some try to fill it with money. Some try to fill it with adventure and puppy love. But at the end of the day, they all find something that kind of satiates their soul in a much deeper way. And for us as Christians, I mean, that's Christ. Because Christians experience the same thing that the characters are experiencing. They're all experiencing loss.
Yeah.
In some way, somebody has lost somebody or something. And they're all trying to fill that hole that was left by that loss. We all get that. We all feel that.
If you have like, say you're a believer and you don't usually go to secular plays, but hey, this sounds really cool and it sounds like, it would feed my heart with the message afterwards. It's a good, clean play for the family. What kind of mission opportunity would I be able to turn this into? For maybe I have some friends who don't go to church with me. Would they feel kind of, beaten over the head with a 50,000 King James Bible from this? Or would this be tell me about that.
No, taking somebody out to the theater is, I would guess, vastly easier than taking somebody to a sermon, taking somebody to even a Christian concert. At Family Life, we're doing food, we have a fantastic dinner, and then we have a fantastic classic American show. But then at the end of all that, once we're all open to story, once we're all open in our emotions, we get to come and present the gospel, which is our eternal mission, but it's not beating you over the head. It's an invitation. It doesn't take much to draw an eternal message out of a story that was not written by Christians. Because the story of eternity is written on our hearts, and it comes out in every story. In every story written by a Christian or not. It really is pretty easy to do our job, finding the eternal value in a show, because it's there. Our focus when we put on shows is definitely Christ-centered. We do not put on a show that doesn't have an eternal message, or a show that we can't draw out an eternal message.
If I had a friend who had actually been very negatively affected by church, and there are quite a few young people out there like that, and older people too. But I've met quite a few young people like that who love theater, but they've been burned by people who said they were believers, but they didn't carry the love of Christ with them. So if I had a friend like that who was church hurt or who was wounded in their soul, how can I encourage them to come try this out? Would I tell them that there's going to be a gospel message afterwards? Or should I... Tell me how to invite my friends.
I wouldn't hide the fact that we're Christian. I wouldn't hide the fact that there's going to be a gospel presentation at the end. One thing that you can say is that the gospel presentation is short. We are not trying to beat you over the head with the Bible. I keep coming back to this word. It's an invitation. It is not a command. We're not twisting your arm. That is not our job, and that's not what we're good at. We're not good at forcing people into our religion. We're good at inviting people into our relationship, into our family. And most of what we're doing during the night is putting on a good show. We just want to do theater well. We try to do things excellently. So come and enjoy a fantastic show. Yes, there will be a gospel message at the end, but it's because these people care about you. It's because these people want you to come in and not walk away with nothing. If we were just to invite you in, have a show, eat some food, and send you on our way, that would be less loving than what we get to do.
I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you are preparing a show like this, what goes into... I'm assuming it's also a ministry to your cast. So what goes into preparing the show that also continues that feeling of, there's Jesus in the small things?
Yes, I hate the phrase, the devil is in the details. It's Christ who's in the details. God is in the details. I think the biggest thing about the ministry working within the cast is something that, unfortunately, we can't share with the audience, and that is months of being together and praying together before every rehearsal and reminding each other why we're doing this. We're doing this for the glory of God. This is something artistic that we get to do for Him. You know, we get to do something creative for the ultimate creator. So a lot of it is just being together and praying through everything. Even in more details, I pray through every blocking decision. I pray through every choreography decision. Especially on the nights that I'm worried if, I don't know, is something going to work or is something not going to work? I have to pray through those things. If not anything else, just for peace. For the Holy Spirit to give me that peace that surpasses understanding. So I like to say that the shows are, if we're doing our job right, bathed in prayer.
Awesome. So what do you hope perhaps this is the first time someone's heard about the dinner theaters at Family Life, and this is their first time, trying to experience something like this. What do you hope they take away from it?
I hope people walk away from the show feeling an invitation to experience life after loss to the fullest. This is for people who have had loss in their life, which, if we're being honest, is most people.
Yeah.
Even continuing on from our past show, Ruth, which was very much about life after loss, this is the comedic version, the comedic continuation of that message. And our message is life after loss is Jesus, is a life for Christ. That is the most fulfilling love you can ever experience because He first loved us.
So perhaps you got a really great show lineup and you have calls for auditions and someone is not a believer. Are they welcome to audition?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. And I will not say that it won't be a time of ministry for us. But I will say that we're not going to be twisting your arm the whole time. We barely have time to get rehearsals in. We're going to be working, and we're going to be working hard, and it's a really, really fun, energetic, kind of pressured environment, but in a healthy way.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of people getting together to do something real, to do something that connects us with each other. Theater is a very, very special environment that we get to enjoy. However, we are God-centered. We will be praying. You can join in or not.
That's awesome. So I come from a theater background, and I experienced what the secular theater had to offer. So from someone who's come from the secular theater, and whether it's community theater or not, what is different about Christian theater or theater done by Christians?
Sure.
Or theater in a Christian organization than what you've experienced elsewhere?
Christians who do theater are much more focused, if they're doing their job well, on Christ and the eternal value of what they are working on. In the secular field, you have to worry about yourself. You have to worry about whether you're getting the job or not. You have to worry about union rights. You have to worry about whether you're paying the bills. You have to kind of be selfish. And sometimes, a lot of times, that comes out in people's behavior. But when you are all there in the rehearsal hall, worshiping with what you're doing and working to the glory of God, something bigger, something above you, then that idea of I'm doing this for myself is kind of lowered.
So you mentioned something about being Christ-centered and that your acting and what you're doing on the stage is worship. Can you expand a little bit on that? Is that biblical, that what you're doing is worship?
I believe so. How about this? We'll use the transitive property. The scriptures say to pray without ceasing, right? And prayer is worshipful. So if you go into every rehearsal and you're praying throughout the rehearsal and praying before the rehearsal, then I would say that that's worshipful. Yeah. Even more so, worship is a top-down experience. Us worshiping is not giving something God needs. It's God changing our hearts while we worship. While we selflessly worship Him, He changes our hearts and He more perfectly aligns our mind and our thoughts with His. So if we are working for his glory, I do believe it's worship. I struggled with that for a while because sometimes when you are working on a show, there is evil that you have to portray on the stage.
Okay.
And you have to portray that so that the good shines all the brighter. You have to show the dark to see the light in a story.
Right.
So how is portraying that evil worshipful? It's the bigger picture. If that show is ultimately glorifying God and has an eternal message, then that is still worshipful. As long as you're doing it safely in a safe, consensual environment, making sure the actor is comfortable and everybody in the room is comfortable, then it's still a worshipful experience.
It's awesome. So if you had to say one encouraging word to somebody about the show, about why they should come and what they're going to expect, can we wrap up with that?
If nothing else, Hello, Dolly is a fantastic, fun, comedic, energetic show. It's an absolute classic. Definitely worth your time just for that. But even more so, we have a message to share, and it is much, much more important. We will not beat you over the head with it, but our hope is that you will feel loved when you leave.